How's it going? Monday, April 10th, 2023. Baseball records. This video, total bases. 169 position players in the Baseball Hall of Fame. I want to rank them according to who has the most total bases career. I've got a list, and the official ranking from 1 to 169 has Henry Aaron, number 1, 6,856 total bases. If I turn my head, I'm looking at my list on the computer screen. So I'll go back and forth. 2, Stan Musial, 6,134. Willie Mays is next, 6,066. So 3 players in the Baseball Hall of Fame have over 6,000 total bases. 4, Ty Cobb, 58-54. 5, Babe Ruth, 5,793. Those are the top 5. Aaron, Musial, Mays, Cobb, and Ruth. You know who's number 6? Pete Rose. Now, I'm dealing with Hall of Fame players. Pete's not in the Hall of Fame. I think he should be. But I got to include him because he's number 6, 5,793 total bases. So let me list the players, and I'll comment on them as we go down the list, okay? I'll comment on certain individuals. Next, Carl Yastrzemski, 55-39. Eddie Murray, 53-97. Frank Robinson, 53-73. Ken Griffey, 52-71. Dave Winfield, 52-21. Cal Ripken, 51-68. Tris Speaker, 51-01. Lou Gehrig, 14 on the list, 5,060. I got to make mention of Lou Gehrig here. Just played 17 years, and he only played in 2,164 games. Did you know that Henry Aaron played 1,100 more games than Lou Gehrig? If we do the math, Lou Gehrig was on a pace. He was averaging 2.33 total bases per game. If we multiply that by another 1,100 games, so he has the same number of games as Henry Aaron, do you know that Lou Gehrig would be number 1 in total bases if he played the same number of games as Henry Aaron? He would have ended up with, listen to this, 7,702 total bases. Lou Gehrig. He played less games, that still had 5,000 bases. He was on a pace for 7,702 total bases. He would have been number 1. If you take all the Hall of Famers and you have them play all the same number of games, Lou Gehrig would be number 1 in total bases, according to the pace that he was on. What do you think of that? You know who would be number 2? Babe Ruth. Aaron played 795 more games than Ruth, so if you add those games, Ruth would have ended up with over 7,600 total bases. It's just a what-if scenario. Aaron's number 1. Give it to Aaron. He has 6,856, just short of 7,000 total bases. But Lou Gehrig and Babe Ruth would have beat him if they played the same number of games as Aaron. So you got to say that Lou and Babe Ruth are the number 1 and 2 in total bases. Pretty supposed. Let's keep going. George Brett, 5,044. Mel Ott, 5,041. So Mel Ott is number 16 on the list, and he cuts off the number as far as those in the Hall of Fame, 5,000 and above. The rest of these guys are under 5,000 total bases. Jimmy Fox, 49-56. Derek Jeter, 49-21. Ted Williams, 48-84. He's another guy Aaron played 1,000 more games than Williams, yet Williams had 4884. He was on a pace for 7,000 if he plays another 1,000 games, because he was averaging about 2.13 total bases per game. How do I get the average of what they did? Take the total bases, take the number of games, find out how many games it took to get to the number of the total bases, and you come up with, in Williams' case, 2.13 total bases per game. So Williams and Fox were on a pace for over 7,000 total bases because of the number of games they played and what they were averaging. Okay? Honus Wagner, 4870. Paul Molitor, 4854. Al Kaline, 4852. Reggie Jackson, 4834. Andrew Dawson, 4787. David Ortiz, 4765. Chipper Jones, 4755. Robin Yount, 4730. Roger Hornsby, 4712. Here's another guy. Aaron had 1,000 more games than Hornsby, yet Hornsby, he would have beat Aaron if he played another 1,000 games. He would have had over 6,800. Aaron has 6,856. According to my calculation, Hornsby would have just edged out Aaron if he played the same number of games. So Hornsby's an interesting guy. Biggio. Craig Biggio, 4711. Ernie Banks, 4706. Al Simmons, 4685. Jim Thome, 4667. Harold Baines, 4604. Billy Williams, 4599. Cap Hansen, 4592. Ricky Henderson, 4588. You know, Hansen and Henderson played a long time, and yet they only ended up with about 4,500 total bases. So they weren't as efficient as Gehrig, Ruth, and Fox and Williams and DiMaggio. Still, though, pretty good. Frank Thomas, 4550. Tony Perez, 4532. Mickey Mantle, it's a guy on the list. 4511, 18 years. Plays 20 years. He's over 5,000 total bases. Presupposed. Vlad Guerrero, 4506. Roberto Clemente, 4492. Paul Wainer, 4478. Nap Lajoie, 4472. Fred McGriff just made the Hall, 4458. Ivan Rodriguez, 4451. Mike Schmidt, 4404. 18 years for Schmidt. Another 20 years, he's over 5,000 total. If he plays 20 years, he's over 5,000 total bases. Good pace for Schmidt. Eddie Matthews, 4349. Sam Crawford, 4328. Goose Goslin, 4325. Brooks Robinson, number 50 on the list, 4270. Eddie Collins, 4268. Tony Gwynn, 4259. Played 20 years. So he's around the 4,000 total base thing. Charlie H. Gehringer, 4257. Lou Brock, 4238. Willie McCovey, 4219. Jeff Bagwell, 4213. Only 15 years for Bagwell. He was on pace for 5,000. Willie Stargell, 4190. Jake Beckley, 4160. Harmon Killebrew, 4143. Jim Rice, 4129. Zach Wheat, 4,100. Wade Boggs, 4,064. 18 years for Boggs. He's around the 4,000. Him and Gwynn are 4,000 total base guys. Harry Heilman, 4,053. Roberto Alomar, 4,018. So that cuts off. These are the guys in the 4,000s, and Roberto Alomar, number 64 on the list, cuts off the 4,000. The rest of these guys under 4,000 total bases. Listen to this stat. Carlton Fisk, 3,999 total bases. I was him, I'd go, hey, wait a minute, I want 4,000. Give me one more game. I get one more total base. Just a base hit to left field, and he has 4,000 total bases. How about the times he got robbed? You know, he hits a line drive into the gap, and a guy makes a diving catch and robs him of a hit. Fisk, not knowing that robbery cost him one extra total base to push over 4,000. You know, if I was playing, I'd want 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 total bases if I was a major leaguer, wouldn't you? So you could be in the record books. Rod Carew, again, another guy, 39.98. Carew got robbed a lot of times on hits. And he just missed 4,000 total bases. Joe Morgan, 39.62. Orlando Cepeda, 39.59. Sam Rice, 39.55. Joe DiMaggio, this is another guy, 13 years, 3,948. But listen to this. Joe DiMaggio just played in 1,700 games and got close to 4,000 hits, 4,000 total bases. Looking at this math, Aaron had 1,500 more games than Joe DiMaggio. So give Joe DiMaggio those extra games to match Aaron. Joe DiMaggio was on a pace for 7,493 total bases because he was averaging 2.27 total paces per game. Because look, there's only 1,700 games, and he has close to 4,000 total bases. Give him another 1,500 games, and he's in the 7,000 range. See this what-if scenario? A lot of these guys. Why did Joe only play 13 years? Because he was in the military for about 3, right? 3.5. And then also he gave it up early because of injuries. Joe DiMaggio, what a hitter. '71 on the list, Frankie Frisch, 39.37. Larry Walker, 39.04. George Sisler, 38.71. Duke Snider, 38.65. Joe Medwick, 38.52. Ed Delante, 37.94. Only 15 years for Ed. Could have. You know the story about Ed, right? Died in his mid-30s. Either he fell off the bridge at Niagara Falls or was pushed off. We don't know. But he died early. He was on a good pace. Ted Simmons, 37.93. Roger Connor, 37.88. Ryan Sandberg, 37.87. And number 80 on the list, Ron Santo, 37.79. So total bases, this video. Who are the top 5 presupposed total bases guys of all time? We got Gehrig, Ruth, Fox, Williams, and DiMaggio. Those guys. Unmatched. These are the best ball players of all time. Gehrig's number 1. He could have had 7,702 total bases if he played the same number of games as the number 1 guy on the list, Henry Aaron. Aaron is number 1. He has 6,856 total bases, but do remember that Aaron played 3,298 games. Gehrig only played 2,100. 2,164 to be exact. Ruth only played 2,500. Fox played 2,300, and Williams played 2,200. So you see, these guys, they were on a pace to break Aaron. All right, that does it for this video. Next video, we'll do numbers 81 through 169. We'll look at the guys' total bases. We'll comment on some of those guys. Thanks for watching here. I'm out.